one of the videos of a YouTuber that I I'm a follower of. Yeah, one of the YouTubers I follow made a video. It's interesting so far, but I want to play from the beginning so she could explain the intentions of the video. And as you could tell, this is my reply to her video: false impressions that Germans may have of Americans. How do I put this? This is not a attack video. Not at all. This is not an attack video. Not at all. I think attacking a YouTuber for her or his views on whatever topic is wrong, unless it's a direct threat. And then in that case, somebody like Vegan Gains, or they made a threat, you know, you threat them back, you know, golden rule, under others as others do unto you. Golden rule. But Trixie is a very nice person, and I really do like her YouTube channel. It's quite interesting. So let's go to her video. Let's see what she has to say.
Hey Rabbits, it's Trixie, and today I want to try to answer the questions: how do Germans or Europeans see Americans? In this video, I will
see. She's not attacking Americans through this video. She is just giving her opinion based upon what she'll explain in a second, but through the media she's seen over the years.
I want to mention some major differences that I sense between Europeans and Americans. And no stereotypes. All Americans are fat and everyone owns a gun. There are definitely enough videos of this kind out there. Instead, I want to base this video on my personal impressions, on the influences that I, as a German, get from the media or from movies. What make people think about America who never actually went there themselves and are only affected by what they hear and see from far away? Just be aware that all of the things I'm going to mention are highly biased. You know, without beating around the bush, I'm just going to tell you my first associations, the one that come to my mind. Which, by the way, does not mean that I actually believe that. I purposely avoided doing research on the aspects I'm going to mention, because what I'm targeting in this video are exactly those half-truths about America, because that may be what you have on your mind if you don't question things. Of course, no offense.
I just want to say, Trixie, some of the things you might say in this video may not exactly be half-truths. Just putting it out there.
Intended. I mean, let's be honest, we all fell for some sort of stereotype already without being too critical about it. We don't research on everything we hear on another nation. We are subconsciously manipulated all the time in lack of own experiences. So the purpose of this video is to raise awareness of how Europeans, or well, Germans, may see America if they don't do educational research or have been there themselves. It may be a chance for Europeans to rethink their view on America, and also an opportunity for Americans to work on their image if they don't like what they hear.
My God, is this video gonna start at some point?
Now, the first aspect that think about how Americans appear to me are the impressions that I get from watching American YouTubers. Compared to other European colleagues, I feel that Americans are a bit more superficial, loud, and over the top. Hey guys, it's me, Cindy, and today we are gonna experience something amazing together. The volume and this excitement are just a bit sometimes. They seem like they want to jump off the camera right towards me and like that. Everything is awesome and sunny and shiny and great. But let's face it, we are not all enthusiastic and happy all the time. Why would I scream opening a box of makeup or something like that? I know it's all for the show and it's cool to watch these extreme emotions. And there are actually more and more European YouTubers trying to do the same thing. But I still feel that this comes from America. We are only trying to copy that. And you know, I also have the impression that this small talk thing is not...
Before we get to the portion of the video, about small talk, I'll say that not all of us Americans are energetic with our videos. Like, we don't do good morning, fellow YouTubers from America and around the world. The majority of us don't really do that. The ones that do the whole energetic video opening are either clickbait YouTubers, or they're just obnoxiously loud just as a character, or to show how he uses a character compared to his actual way of speaking is TJ Kirk, aka the Amazing Atheist. There's videos of TJ as the Amazing Atheist going on tangents, but in an obnoxiously loud way. But if you see his YouTube show, Abandoned Hope or Drunken Peasants, he's very cool, calm, and collective. He's not obnoxiously loud in there as he is in his other videos. But that's the only type of YouTubers really that from America that really do the loud opening, is those who are clickbait YouTubers or ones who are obnoxiously loud for a character. But other than that, people like me, you know, we don't do the obnoxiously loud openings unless we're really fucking pissed off. And I haven't really been pissed off in quite a while, so this is the way I talk in general while I do my videos.
Not only limited to YouTube videos and, you know, presenting yourself online. It seems to be a social thing as well. All the times that I spoke to Americans in my life already, be it via Skype or just in an email, these people were so super nice. You get this feeling that life only consists out of balloons and cupcakes. So in general, I think that Europeans, or at least Germans, tend to talk a bit more about severe things and realistic topics. Sure, we also have small talk, but it's not quite the same. It's, hey, how's it going? And you know, there's like a 30% chance we actually care, while Americans hug and kiss and ask you, hey, what's up? Long time no see. It's amazing to be here. I don't even know what to say about that, whether or not the American way is the better way or I prefer the European one. I just feel it's very different. The American way may be a bit fake, but also very warm-hearted and nice. The European approach seems a bit colder to me, but also slightly more authentic. So far, that was a pretty harmless topic to start off with. But let's take this whole superficiality aspect on another level.
Now, the small talk thing, there are a lot of Americans that do small talk in general, yes. But this YouTuber who is doing this video response despises small talk. I'm not a small talk person. My mom is a small talk person. My late Aunt Nancy wasn't a small talk person. My Uncle Andrew, I think he's not really small talk type either. But here's the thing. My family, for the most part, we're not small talkers. We like conversations that involve politics and all that shit. We do like to talk about things that have some consistent depth and, you know, importance to it, instead of just saying, how's the weather today? I can do small talk. I really can't. There are some Americans who are like Europeans in the sense of can't have a conversation with small talk. It has to be a broad topic. It has to be a topic that has some consistency and all that. But this YouTuber that's replying to you agrees that the European way is a little more authentic, because there's a lot of Americans who do like this big showing teeth smile, which is very fake. But a lot of people in America, though, fake happiness so they don't have to talk about how sad they might be with something. And I guess it's comforting to some, but I have to let anger go or sadness go whenever I feel it coming. So I will say I'm a little European in the way it comes to with conversations.
I just listen to my guts and share my first associations with you. I would say that Americans, for example, care more about status symbols. A huge car, a big house, a beautiful wife. I feel like it matters slightly more to them what others think of them. If I, as a German, trust all these media and movie sources without questioning them, then it may appear to me that Americans care a lot about being famous and rich and liked. You know, that career and status and money matters a lot to Americans. And also that they're not ashamed to brag about it. Little reminder, this does not mean that I actually think this is true. It's just something that I heard or saw more than once in my life. And I feel that this is something that many people may believe in. That's something that you usually don't hear about Europeans, I would say. They also care about career, but they seem more focused on themselves instead of on others. And then there's this plastic surgery thing.
When it comes to status symbols and all that, here's the thing about status symbols. You have to, how do I put it? There are Americans who are minimalist in the sense that they don't really care about what their status symbol is to other people, but they care about a personal status title. It's a quarter of a truth. I say quarter of the truth, and it's not even a half truth. It's a quarter of a truth, because most Americans do help others out. There's soup kitchens all across the country. People help each other out, but there are plenty of people that really don't care about the whole I want the fame and all the money type life. Not everybody in America is like that. And you just said yourself that you don't even think that's true, because it really isn't. Some people want to be rich and famous. I, on the other hand, part of me wants to be rich and famous, and the other part of me says fame doesn't always bring happiness. It might bring you a shitload of money, but it doesn't always bring you happiness. So, yeah, I mean, definitely when it comes to, being self-concerned instead of being concerned of others, that might be some Americans, but most Americans do want to help others out.
I feel like, at least in Germany, this topic is not that common. I literally don't know anybody who did plastic surgery. And from my friends, I know that most of them wouldn't consider it. In America, however, it seems to be less of a taboo topic. My totally untrustworthy impression is that Americans get more plastic surgery done. It also pretty often happens that some of them go overboard, and you see these women with super huge lips. And these people that are Botoxed and lifted so that they cannot blink anymore. So is that something that you find more often in America than Europe, or especially Germany? You tell me. Next up.
The plastic surgery thing is a 100% absolute truth about this country. There are plenty of people that don't want to look old. There's a minority of people in America that say, I'm old. I'm going to look old. I'm going to show my age anyway, so might as well show it. But there are people like Wayne Newton, as you perfectly described, having the skin lift so he blinking is a possibility. You described Wayne Newton perfectly. Wayne Newton is definitely the type of person that got his skin lifted so much that he's nothing but tight pulled skin. But yeah, I mean, plastic surgery is a big thing in America. Big thing in America. Maybe there are a few Europeans in England or Germany or that prefer plastic surgery. But in America, it's a big fucking industry next to big pharma.
nationalism. When you watch American movies, series, or videos from America, you can see the American flag everywhere. It's like it's a second skin for Americans that they carry around all the time wherever they go. No matter what you watch, even if it's a family vlog or something, you can spot an American flag in the background. I hear many Americans say online how proud they are to be American, that America is the best country ever, which to me, of course, is not a bad thing, but a bit weird, especially considering that I am a German and we are somehow inhibited of showing national pride. You know, a healthy amount of national pride can be a good thing, but sometimes I feel that Americans do it a bit too much. It's one thing to like the country that you're living in, but it also separates you from people coming from other places, because you're like, we are the awesome Americans, you come from somewhere it's not that awesome, and I feel like it's more difficult to break the ice then. I just picture myself going to America and everyone would be like, America, America, American flag everywhere. I would feel a bit excluded. So it's kind of cool on one hand and a bit negative on the other hand to me. We had superficiality, we had national pride, so let's talk about people.
Hold on. Hold the phone. Trixie, I want to show you something. There's a reason why Americans, such as myself, are very proud to be American. We show pride in being American. It might seem weird to you, and I get that. It does seem weird to most Europeans. But here's the thing. This is why. This is an old... Oh, fuck. Okay, I'm going to hold it as high up as possible. So, see this crystal here? Trixie, it has, this is from early 2000s, 2000 exactly, because it has the Twin Towers in here. But, see Lady Liberty? This is why people are proud to be Americans. When, a little story time actually, when people that were coming from different countries, Germany, Poland, Israel, Italy, so on and so forth, when they were coming here through Ellis Island, Lady Liberty was the first thing they saw, and then the American flag. The American flag, yes, you're right, is a different skin color or a skin tone to every American, black and white alike, Asian and German alike. Because America's history, the flag has flown over moral right. The flag was flown by the Union Army in the Civil War, the American Civil War, from 1861 to 1865. The Union Army flew the American flag. The Confederate Army flew the stars and bars, the Confederate flag. Triumphs. People that came to America seen Lady Liberty before they seen the American flag. Lady Liberty, bringing in people, welcoming people. Give me, you're tired, you're sick, you're hungry, you're poor, you're homeless, yearning to breathe free, you're wretched refuge to your teeming shore. The new Colossus. So nationalism in America, I could see why you might feel a bit excluded, but know that the American flag includes everyone. Everyone. People who come from all countries. It includes everyone. Because in America, you have more rights in this country than you do in others. This is why when you have immigrants You know how proud they're American? They're actually more proud to be American than most people born in America. Immigrants are more proud to be American than most people born in America to begin with, because they're so proud to, and where they're free. But yeah, nationalism is a thing for us, and the American flag is a secondary skin color to everybody who lives in this country. If someone pulled their skin off, you would see the American flag. Really. It's true. It's a secondary skin color, but that's the thing. Americans, we're proud to be American because we have certain rights that other countries don't. And that's a beautiful thing. America is the land of opportunity to those who have no opportunity. Anyway, getting back to the video.
People being a bit more extreme than in other nations. Whenever I watch an American movie or even just an American YouTube video, I feel that everything is more colorful. People don't seem to be afraid of showing bright colors and super amazing effects every 5 seconds. Many movies are action-packed, or you have these super silly, cheesy romantic movies, or it's like super dramatic, super sad. To me, it seems like the premise of every American movie is make people talk about it. Be it because it's actually super epic, a little bit politically incorrect, super, super bad. It's difficult to make a transition here, but I feel that not only concerning movies, everything has to be bigger, faster, more expensive, richer, more successful. This is really not meant as an offense, but American people sometimes seem a bit more freaky and hysterical to me. They seem to be less afraid of being who they are, of dressing how they want, of dreaming big. While my parents would have told me, yeah, Trixie, you know, being a superstar may sound like an amazing job, but what about you finish school first and then you see after you studied? Media gives me the impression that American parents are more like, Stacey, you're 5 years old. You have to practice walking in your high heels, or don't you want to become a pop star? No matter if that's true-ish or not, again, this would have good and bad sides. On one hand, I feel like Europeans, or at least Germans, are somewhat too inhibited of dreaming big. Do you know how many people shook their heads when I told them that I want to be a YouTuber, or that I want to write a book, star in a series or in a movie? I mean, if you still manage to get your shit together, why not have a dream like that? Why not try? But obviously the negative side may also be that people lose track of reality. And the same applies to people being more freaky. It's awesome.
I want to address the high pie in the sky hopes and dream thing. Okay, you have some parents who force their little girls or little boys to be in the modeling industry at an early age. True, you have some people that do that. Not a lot of parents do that. And the ones that do are normally canonized or something like that by other people, because you should force a child to do something they don't want. But also, when you said about media and everything being more colorful, yeah, there's a lot of colorful shit in American cinema, past and present. But with media in America, yeah, you want people to talk about it. You want people to talk about your programming, and you have to make shit colorful. You have to explode a fucking car on television, on a TV show every now and then. But in order for a film to be successful, especially with a lot of modern day movie audiences, you have to have explosions, fires, and everything, and goddamn destruction. But I also want to add the fact that if you take in, yeah, if you take in the amount of, I would say, amount of time that a lot of people have put into these films, you can't blame them for being how colorful they actually are, because that would be work going to waste. Jesus fucking Christ. But fuck you, fire department. But yeah, definitely when it comes to entertainment, yeah, it's going to be more colorful in this country because there's multi-million-dollar work put into it. But also, but with dreaming big and all that, there are some people who force their children into the acting business or whatever at an early age. But a lot of people, either complete school, like Elvis Presley did, or they drop out of college or drop out of high school if they have a great talent, like Rick Springfield does. And you just go for the big time. You don't really need a formal education if you can get an education while doing what you love, because a lot of people like Penn Jillette went to high school, got a high school diploma, didn't go to college, didn't really get a complete formal education, but still, he's still one of the most intelligent people that works in the field of magic and in Vegas. And Teller dropped out of high school at the age of 16. And we're talking about a guy who's been performing magic with as Penn makes fun of himself, a big dumb guy for well over 40 years. But yet they're intelligent, they're not stupid, and they've learned about different cultures while performing in different parts of the world without having a quote unquote formal education about other countries. So sometimes, a lot of American artists and all these people just dropping out of school has benefited them, because a lot of geniuses never really gained anything from school. It's been a proven fact, and I'm pretty sure it's not only in America. I'm pretty sure people in your country, like Germany, people in that country, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of smart people that dropped out of school, dropped out of college, and found scientific discoveries that they wouldn't have otherwise if they didn't drop out. So, yeah, I mean, dreaming big can make you lose touch with reality. True, it can. But at the same time, though, sometimes out of reality, you can fix your reality and fix the reality of other people better. Franklin Delano Roosevelt left the world of reality when he was looking at the Sphinx in 1945. And, he took himself out of reality for the sole purpose of discovering, I dropped one of the little pieces. No, you didn't. It's right here. I dropped one over here. I have a little piece here, and I dropped a little piece over here. I don't know where it went. It's right. That's the other piece. Anyway, yeah. So people, you know, dreaming big in Germany it is frowned upon, which makes no sense to me. But you know, problem and like you said, you know, people don't dream big often in Germany or in other parts of Europe because it's frowned upon to have a dream. Uh, in America, more you're going to find more contrarians than people who are agreeable with the system. You find more people in America who buck the system instead of following along with it, and I don't think that's a bad thing whatsoever.
When you accept who you are and live who you are, not caring about others, showing yourself as you want to. Then again, there are people going overboard with it, painting their poodles pink because they think it's
Paint poodles pink and all that crap. That's not really dreaming big. That's competition. And yes, America is very competitive in some aspects, but there are a lot of people, such as myself, the person responding to you, who is not active whatsoever with sports or anything like that. And hell, even when I was in high school, I hated going to those band competitions. They were pointless. They made no sense. I mean, you're hearing music and you're seeing which is a real march team and which bands could shake their asses better than the other. I mean, it's not fun. It's boring. I mean, the people can get really over competitive with these stupid competitions.
stuff like that. Also, what I don't like is the tendency to exposure of the same people. All these super dramatic and disrespectful talk shows. I know most of them may be scripted and that's not actually the truth, but I'm sure at least some of them are, and you're just making money out of someone else's misery. There are like two evil sides to that. People trying to expose others to make money, and you know, the audience believing this kind of stuff, watching it over and over again, hungry for more extremes and weirdos. I cannot really decide which view on America is the more accurate one. The one that you're not judged too much for being yourself, which is a good thing, or the one with all this exposure and people being seen as freaks. I also mentioned hysterical, which means that I think that Americans show more extreme emotions that may be a bit over the top. Road rage, for example.
When it comes to all the things about television shows, reality shows, and all that crap. Yeah, there's a lot of people with the capability of a goldfish who watch that stuff. People that don't watch things like Jerry Springer or what's the other old guy that has Murray Povich and all that. Those people watch The View or something with substance to it, something that has something interesting where you're talking about what's happening in the world and all that. But you know, the idea that people get laughed at and their misery is being made fun of and all that, it sounds heartless, but you know, let's face it, sometimes it's fun to laugh at other people's misery. It makes your life a hell of a lot better, even if you're in the same rut. You could say, I have it bad, but this person has it worse. So, you know, laughing at someone else's misery does come off cold-hearted, but how do I put it? Sometimes it makes people feel a bit better about their situation. I know a lot of people in Europe don't do this, granted, but people in Europe should start doing it. You know, people do it all over.
Never seen that here in Germany in all my life. And it's bad because it's dangerous. Furthermore, another association is that also the beliefs of some people are more hysterical. I mean, Scientology, lizard people? Or what about this strange attitude of some mothers towards vaccines, that they cause autism and you cannot vaccinate your child?
Yep. Let's do this one. Road rage. Yeah, it's a more common thing you see in America, more specifically congested cities and all that. But road rage can actually be a good thing if it's done right.
No.
There are people.
You shoot somebody.
There are people who have, pregnant spouses, and they're on the way to the hospital. And sometimes you have to smash a few cars to get them out of the way to get to the hospital if an ambulance isn't available. And if you cause a few fender benders here and there, big deal. The importance is getting your spouse to the hospital. But the thing is, though, road rage done right is not necessarily a bad thing. But let's go through the whole things you listed about, beliefs and all that. Wacko religion. But here's the thing, though. Mormons are crazier. Mormons are crazier than Scientologists. I'd rather have a Scientologist say that Hillary Clinton and the lizard people and Xenu are hanging out in heaven. I'd rather hear people say that instead of the Mormons that do chemical castration to boys who have premarital sex, which is more fucking dangerous to chemically castrate someone to take away their fucking livelihood. And then instead of saying something as crazy as Xenu and Lizard Hillary and all that are eating dinner with Xenu at the table of heaven with God. As crazy as Scientologists are, I would rather hear that instead of Mormons chemically castrating their youth, which happens often. Yeah, beliefs in this country are crazy. But that's what makes it easier for comedians to live in America, because there's a lot of material that writes itself. And vaccinations be causing autism. Look, I get why parents are skeptical about vaccines when they're given papers. And it says what's in the vaccine and all that. And yeah. Well, I can understand why people are skeptical. But here's the thing. Jenny McCarthy, if you're watching this, vaccines don't cause autism. They really don't. They actually help people. And yes, Trixie, there are people who actually believe that vaccines cause autism. You have the most extreme conservatives in Congress saying you got to get your kids vaccinated. So even conservatives in America are for vaccinations. It's the whack jobs that aren't.
I don't know anybody in Germany that has these doubts. Are there actually many Americans doubting vaccines? Another impression that may or may not be true, but that I have in my gut somewhere, is that Americans are very competitive. The high schools and colleges have football matches all the time with cheerleaders and woo, woo, woo. And even for the more quiet and nerdy guys such as me, you have the science fair. There are beauty contents around every corner, even for children sometimes. Not to speak of all the weird talent shows, which is kind of linked to the exposure aspect as well. Own experiences in school, of course, we also had football matches and stuff like that, but there is no cheerleading, for example. I never did it myself. I don't know anybody who did it, and I wouldn't even know where to go to do it. And sure, Europeans also have talk shows and talent shows.
I already said that America is competitive, but it's a select group of people that like the competition. I don't, on the other hand. I'm not a competitive person, truly. And I don't get, the competitive shit. I like being in marching band, but I didn't really pay attention to the football games. I can't recall a season when the Pottsville Crimson Tide won games or lost games, because I wasn't paying attention to the games at all. But yeah, cheerleading is a very American thing. Some countries in South America have cheerleading, but most countries don't have it as much as America does.
Shows and contents. But the American versions of all of that always seem like a level or two higher to me. And then, of course, how could I end this video without talking about guns? If I, as a German, would brainlessly trust...
Okay, this is going to be a sketchy topic for a lot of Americans watching this. You're either going to have the pro-Second Amendment people, such as myself. And when I say pro-Second Amendment, I mean I'm all for the people's rights to have a gun. There's limitations on what type of weapons people should have, but here's the thing though. I'm not a gun nut. I am not a crazy gun nut. There are people who are absolute batshit gun nuts who want bazookas and AK-47s and all these weapons are just strictly meant to kill. I'm not that person. Most people that are pro Second Amendment aren't that person. They're actually far from it. But you're going to either have those group of people that are the gun nuts replying, or you're going to have the people ban all guns, which is against the Constitution.
All the different media influences, then I would see Americans as crazy about guns. It's your 3rd birthday. Here's your gun, just for you, sweetie. Now you can join your father shooting squirrels. I bet that the truth looks much different, and I can imagine that Americans are a bit tired of hearing that. However, if I listen to my unprofessional gut feeling, I would say that America has a bit more emphasis on military things.
Yeah, with guns, I mean, you know, it's different from what you do think. There's Americans who are pro Second Amendment, such as myself, and are for people's right to have a gun without their right being infringed, but we don't want the bad guys to get like the automatic weapons. So not that we're saying that there should be a revision to the Second Amendment, there definitely shouldn't, but there should be some type of, you know, line drawn in the sand, which weapons, you know, the people should have and which weapons the military should have. But yes, you're right. Americans are very pro-supportive of the military. This is true.
Maybe all of that seems to be connected with heroism and respect. You don't have to like it or go for it yourself, but at least you have to appreciate it in a way. That may seem like a weird claim, but let me tell you where I got this from. At the moment, my daughter loves to watch the videos of Bob die Bahn, Bob the Train. It's basically children's songs with funny and colorful animations. But it's also originally from America. And one of the episodes is about Bob die Bahn going to an army camp. Kinder, lasst uns etwas Tolles machen. Heute fahren wir ins Militärlager. What? I want my 2-year-old daughter to learn about colors and animals and fruit, but not about war and military vehicles that are shown as heroes in that little clip. I protect our nation against enemies. What is a toddler supposed to make out of that? And that's...
I'll tell you what a toddler gets out of seeing a lot of pro-war imagery and child images at an early age. I'll tell you exactly what they get out of it. They, especially in America, they get a sense of patriotism. They get a sense of what it is to be a patriot for your country. There are a lot of Americans that don't like war, myself included, but yet I support the military. Without the military, without a strong home front, and America has a strong home front, a country can't live in safety. Most countries live in fear at that point. But yeah, America has a great home front, and we support the men and women overseas, regardless if we support the war or not, but we support the troops. We may not support the cause, but we support the troops. But yeah, toddlers should know about, you know, what military tanks are for and all that, and what the military's for. Yeah, toddlers should be exposed to that at an early age. I don't see anything wrong with that. Actually, if you tell your child more about its country's foundation and what it's supposed to stand for and all that at an early age, they'll understand more about their country than most of their peers when they're 10 years old, 15. When most people at 10 years old don't even know the Constitution, when some years old knew the Constitution through and through, and they could rehearse it and say it without even reading it.
That's not the first time I noticed that. In many other songs or clips that I of course watch before I show them to my daughter, there's this military theme popping up out of nowhere. And this is why this feeling that Americans are a bit more into military stuff comes from. So maybe there is some truth to that one cliche. Alright, Babbins, there are many more things to mention, but I think this video is already long enough. Again, I really, really hope you understood the purpose of this video. All of these things were just things in my head, and it doesn't mean that I actually believe them. But the fact that they were there means that some source, media, movies, whatever, provided me with these impressions, with this potential mindset. By all means, I did not intend to brag about Americans or offend somebody. I just wanted to mention some strange thoughts that Europeans may have of Americans. Of course, you should never trust those half-truths and always research yourself. Go to America yourself before you claim stuff. But still, now I'm very curious. How many of these stereotypical associations did you recognize? Especially if you're not American, where did you say, yeah, true, that's actually also the impression that I have? Disregarding where it comes from, it's just something I feel inside and I never question it. And of course, to all the Americans out there, how true were the things that
to add on about the pro-military stuff, yeah, it's ingrained in us in this country to be pro-military. I said that before, but, you know, we kicked the Nazis' asses. We kicked the Japanese army ass. We kicked the Confederate ass. We kicked Afghanistan ass. We're actually on the way of winning the Afghanistan war, turns out. You know, we lost to the Viet Cong. But yeah, I mean, the point is that America's military within the last 242 years is very interesting. And this is why a lot of Americans want their children, even if they don't like war, to support the military, because the military is a beautiful thing in a land of democracy. Anyway, if you like her video and all that, go sub to her channel and watch her videos. And I do enjoy her stuff, but a lot of the things she's saying there, I think 2 of them were absolutely true, but other than that, most of them were in itself half-truths or quarter-truths. But so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed my response to this video that she made. Hope you guys enjoyed. See ya.